And you know what the answer is? You really do. You don't like it. I don't like it. It scares me. Shootings, gun laws, access to weapons. Oh, I know when they'll change. Your kids start getting killed. White people's kids start getting killed. Those start piling up. What is going on with these police? Oh, what? Maybe we shouldn't even have police. That kind of mania, that kind of madness, that'll be you.
After you wrote that reply, I thought I'd put together this list that you see right here of all these names. And these are the names of people who have died at the hands of the police, who were unarmed, but they were white, and as a consequence, got almost no publicity from the media. And that goes to show you something right there.
Tonight, the family of the 16-year-old shot and killed by a state trooper in St. Mary's County is now speaking out after their son's death.
State police say the trooper who responded saw the young man, later identified as 16-year-old.
Police are investigating how many shots were fired. Chopper 4 captured 15 yellow evidence markers. And I want to show you something interesting in relation to what allegedly happened here. You look right across the street. That is where the shooting occurred, outside of that home. Now, you see where I'm at here? Take a quick walk with me. There are bullet holes on this building across the street where police have marked it. You can see that one. It says 1C with a hole. Come over here, and there's another one that says 1B. And a bullet hit this other house, shattering a window. Why are bullet holes across the street?
That's part of the investigation. I can't speak to that at this point.
The Maryland State Police Homicide Unit is investigating. Officials have not released the name of the trooper. He was not hurt.
Today, a judge released video showing two deputy city marshals opening fire on a car and killing a 6-year-old autistic boy. David Begnaud has the footage, and we warn it is disturbing to see.
This police body camera video captured the moment when two city marshals shot a hail of 18 bullets into Christopher Few's SUV last November, and when they discovered his 6-year-old autistic son sitting in the passenger seat. He was struck 5 times in the head and the chest. Few survived. His son was buried a week later. It is the first time the public has seen the 13-minute video. A judge ordered the release. Police say Stafford and Greenhouse chased Christopher Few after he drove away from an argument with his girlfriend. The video captures the moment the SUV was cornered. Originally, one of the officers said Few tried to ram his vehicle, posing an imminent threat. Investigators say that was a lie. The video shows Christopher Few, bloodied, wounded, and unarmed, get out of his vehicle. Through the bullet-shattered windows, you can see officers poke the little boy.
Hey, bud. Hey, bud.
Who doesn't respond.
Was 16 when he was shot and killed running from Fresno police. According to police, officers tried to detain and question the teen because they suspected he and his brother were involved in a shooting the day prior, but Isaiah wasn't the shooter. Surveillance video uncovered by Action News shows Sergeant Ray Villalbazo firing the shot that killed Isaiah.
Tony Timpa called Dallas police for help.
You're gonna kill me!
And this
You're gonna kill me!
was the help he got. Restrained.
Tony! Tony! Start to school!
And mocked until he died.
This was a tragedy. It was needless and avoidable.
From a Dallas parking lot, Timpa dialed 911 and said he was a schizophrenic. Officers show up, but Timpa is hysterical, already handcuffed by a store security guard. He's then restrained like this for about 14 minutes, and officers can be heard laughing as Timpa's face is buried into the ground. Jeff Henley is representing Timpa's family against the city of Dallas in a federal lawsuit and should not have restrained him this long.
From this, radically prone position, Tony is going to suffer asphyxia.
When Timpa does stop breathing, officers continue to crack jokes.
Is he asleep? He's snoring, that's what it was.
But they stop in their tracks when a paramedic says the 32-year-old is dead.
He died just like George Floyd did.
Yeah, And the cops are mocking the dude after he's dead. That horrible thing that happened to Tamir Rice. Tamir Rice up in Cleveland, right? Now tell him, Tamir Rice was a 12-year-old kid. Yeah. That got shot and killed because he was brandishing a fake gun. A toy gun. A toy gun. And cops roll up, shoot and kill the young kid, right? Now, this is not an isolated incident. There's an article over the span of 2 years, 85 to 86 shootings by cops. People brandishing fake toy guns. Yeah. 50 of them that died out of the 86, they were white. Yeah. You didn't hear about it because it doesn't fit the media narrative.
No, I'll keep recording, thank you. It's my right.
Don't record me, got it?
I will look. You're a police officer on duty. I can record you. And if you come to this side of the vehicle, I can keep recording you.
Turn it off.
I can keep recording you.
Turn it off and take a jail.
For recording you, I'm sitting in my car. I'm holding my phone.
To record me.
What is the law? What are you arresting me for? I'm sitting here in my car. I'm just recording in case anything happens. I'm surrounded by 5 police officers.
You're being a jerk.
I'm scared right now. I'm not being a jerk. I'm recording it in case anything happens.
Well, you better hope we don't find something in your car, okay?
They're not searching my car.
Well, I'm going to search your car.
You're not searching my car.
Roll canine this way, please.
Bring the canines. I don't care, man.
Okay.
I know my rights.
I hope so. I know what the law is.
I know the law. I'm an attorney, so I would hope I know the law.
And an Uber driver?
And here, man.
And an Uber driver.
You want my bar card?
Video from that neighborhood where a 73-year-old grandfather suffering from dementia was shot and killed by police during a late-night walk. Matt Gutman.
Scrutiny is mounting tonight against the Bakersfield, California Police Department for shooting and killing that unarmed 73-year-old man who lived in that house, and it was just feet from his front door where the officers encountered him right in the driveway of his neighbor's house, and it was here that they opened fire. Neighbor Donald Clark heard the gunshots.
They killed that man for absolutely no reason.
Neighbors are saying that that man was killed in cold blood.
I think the investigation will show that. Our officers are trained to and are allowed to use deadly force. Officers are trained to and are allowed to use deadly force.
Hey, young man, listen to my instructions and do not make a mistake. You are to keep your legs crossed. Do you understand me? You are to put both of your hands palm down straight out in front of you. Push yourself up to a kneeling position. I said keep your legs crossed! Sorry. I didn't say this in conversation. Put your hair! Hands up in the air! You do that again, we're shooting you. Do you understand? Please do not shoot me. Then listen to my instructions. I'm trying to do it. Don't talk! Listen! Hands straight up in the air. Do not put your hands down for any reason. You think you're going to fall, you better fall on your face. Your hands go back in the small of your back or down. We are going to shoot you. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. Crawl towards me.
Officer Philip Mitchell Brailsford fires 5 rounds, killing Shaver. No gun was found on Shaver. Brailsford was acquitted.
Can someone please help explain to me how is it possible in the United States of America that these police officers keep getting away with murder? My husband, Daniel Shaver, was shot and killed. He was compliant. He was unarmed. He didn't even have shoes on. He died in the hotel hallway alone, and they rendered absolutely no aid. The man that shot him, Philip Brailsford, had the words, "You're fucked," inscribed into the dust cover of his personal AR-15 that Mesa Police Department approved him to use. He was charged with second-degree murder, acquitted, and then reinstated so he could get PTSD benefits for claiming disability for murdering my husband. So he claims to have PTSD from murdering my husband. But it's interesting because the city paid for him to file bankruptcy. In his bankruptcy filing, he requested to keep the gun he used to murder my husband. Tell me, if you have PTSD from shooting and killing somebody, do you want to keep that weapon? Do you fight to keep that? What is wrong with him? Is he a psychopath? Nope, he's just apparently a regular Mesa police officer, because that's what they say. Apparently that's just common out there, and it's just totally accepted and normal, and nobody's going to do anything about it because nobody knows about Daniel Shaver.
Daniel Harris was shot during a traffic stop near his home, a state trooper opening fire, and there are questions from neighbors and family asking, was Harris simply trying to use sign language when it happened? Police now searching through dash cam and body cam video, and ABC's Lindsay Davis on a family demanding answers tonight.
Tonight, officials are searching through police dashboard and body camera video to find out why an unarmed deaf man was shot to death by police just feet away from his home.
That guy's deaf. He didn't even hear the siren. He didn't hear anything.
Harris, the father of a 3-year-old, was killed by a single gunshot, according to authorities. His brother, who's also deaf, says police aren't trained enough in dealing with deaf people.
If the officer had known that he was deaf, it would have ended differently.
At a vigil, mourners wrote in chalk along his street, "Justice for Daniel."
Deputies and detectives pulled up to the property of 80-year-old Eugene Mallory, a retired engineer, a man with no criminal record. He loved conversation, would chat with friends and even strangers for hours at the local restaurant down the street. The problem is, when the investigating coroner arrived on the scene, he didn't find Eugene Mallory on the bedroom floor. He found him on the bed.
I came back to that bloody bedroom. There was blood just running down the back of the bed, and the covers were just saturated in a thick blood. The mask that they put on to help you breathe was just full of it. And I was just sick.
It appears the decedent collapsed near the bedroom entryway and was moved by paramedics to the bed prior to my arrival.
But later, that story changed. The officer who shot Mallory admitted during an internal investigation that Mallory was not charging at him, but was in bed at the time of the shooting. The police found no evidence of methamphetamine production on the property. What they did find were 2 juvenile marijuana plants grown by Tanya's son, Adrian, who holds a California medical marijuana license.
How is that a justification for coming in and killing a man? Nothing was done illegally here.
Put your gun down, really?
He clearly didn't like that I was pointing my camera to videotape him. He thinks he's being funny now.
All right, go take your hand out of your pocket.
No, sir, I haven't done nothing. I've done absolutely nothing, no.
Hey, seriously.
Put your gun down, really?
Edward 10. Start me another.
This one's really got a gun on me. No, you don't touch me. You don't touch me.
I'm at that address. Start me another unit.
You don't touch me.
Hey, man.
No, you don't touch me.
When I tell you to take your hand out.
I've done nothing.
Okay.
Nope.
You need to relax.
What have I done? Why'd you get out of your vehicle?
You're taking a picture of me. I'm taking a picture of you.
You take a picture and leave.
Okay. I don't have to leave.
Neither do I.
So, I told you to take your hand out of your pocket. I just want to make sure you don't have a weapon.
You know I don't have a weapon on me.
Okay. I don't know that.
You do that. I'm completely clear. Wrong. You have your gun out because you're a police officer. You're trying to intimidate me, and this is going all over YouTube.
This is how John Geer spent the last 45 minutes of his life, standing at his front door, hands up, talking with Fairfax, Virginia police. That's him in the white t-shirt. This picture is from a neighbor's cell phone, taken just minutes before John Geer is shot dead.
You had one officer standing here. He had his gun drawn. Officer Torres had his gun drawn and pretty much pointed center mass the whole time.
In this photo, you see his weapons raised, pointing directly at John Geer. Barnes will say later in taped interviews with investigators that Geer never threatened police.
I had to get hurt. I said, I don't want to get shot. I don't want anybody else to get shot.
Geer, a self-employed father of 2 teenage girls.
He said, hey, can you not point that gun at me? Can you get officer or whatever to lower his gun?
A few times, Geer asks permission to move.
A couple times he needed to scratch his nose. He would say, hey, I'm going to scratch my nose. And he would slowly take his hand and scratch his nose. And he had just scratched his nose and put his hand back up there. And it just happened so fast. And I'm like, when he shot, I'm like, to myself, who the shot?
And there's more. Right after Officer Torres shot Geer, he apologized for it, and then blurted out that he'd had a fight with his wife just minutes before arriving on scene.
Get down on the ground now! Put your hands up! Let me see your hands. Hey, sir, get your hands up! Don't reach for your hands! Quit reaching for what you got! Keep your hands up! Keep your hands up! Dude, if you reach one more time, you will get shot again. Stop! Dude! Hey, good!
When these police officers mistook my identity and assaulted me, they did not have my rights in mind, because instead of admitting that they were wrong, they charged me with 3 felonies.
911 emergency.
Oh my God, they're pounding him in the head. They're gonna kill this man.
When 2 men approached me, stepped toward me off the curb and said, hey, who are you? I said, I'm James. And they asked me, is that your real name? I said, yes, that's my real name. But one of them stepped behind me, boxed me out, and took my wallet out of my back pocket. So I went to run, to flee, and I was tackled and ultimately beaten pretty severely. I was screaming for someone to call the police.
Oh my God. They're beating him up. Like, they're literally assaulting him.
When I was being choked, I feared for my life, truly, and it was a moment where everything went black, and as far as I know, that is as close as you can get to being dead without being dead. The police came, and then that was when I realized that they weren't muggers, but they were just police detectives.
In this case, the officers were looking for a fugitive with an extremely broad description. James looked absolutely nothing like the photograph the officers had of the fugitive whom they were looking for.
Do you have any weapons on you at all? No, sir. I thought they were trying to mug me.
I remember being loaded into the back of the ambulance, just being so stricken by what had all had just happened. I was in a great deal of pain when I got to the hospital, and I remember everyone there, the staff, the nurse, even the officer that was in charge of watching me. As I was cuffed to my bed, I remember him loosening the cuffs and telling me that I shouldn't be there. I went directly from the hospital to the jail cell, where I was, stripped of my clothing, given a jumpsuit, given a mugshot, spent the night on a cold jail cell. After I was released from jail, much to my surprise, the police officers charged me with 3 violent felonies. And I had to go to trial 6 months later. I spent that whole 6 months probably the most scared and the most stressed I've ever been in my entire life, having no idea if I'm gonna spend the next 10 years of my life in prison for something that I didn't do. I remember my attorneys telling me, most people don't win against the government, and we know that you did nothing wrong, but if they offer you a plea, you should consider taking it. And they did, and I said no. I said, no, I didn't do anything wrong.
What happened to James is not an isolated incident. Typically, people just don't hear about them for any number of reasons. In a situation like James's, where a prosecutor brings several serious felony charges against someone, they'll typically take a plea deal to avoid going to trial and potentially spending decades in prison. And once they do that, their ability to go after the officers or hold them accountable for violating the Constitution basically evaporates.
And you know what the answer is? You really do. You don't like it. I don't like it. It scares me. White people's kids start getting killed? What is going on with these police? Oh, what? Maybe we shouldn't even have police. That kind of mania, that kind of madness, that'll be you.